Psychic medium and spiritual healer based in New Zealand. Welcome. So yeah, I've got a little bit of time on my hands. I've been thinking about a lot of things that I wanted to do at the moment, and I want to do a video on the after effects of energetic leeching and what you can expect in the feelings that move through and how energy leeching happens. And it's actually incredibly common. And sometimes when we have these experiences and we can't understand the reasoning behind them or why we're feeling so disempowered, how did I let this happen? How did I not see this? Why was I taken in as a fool and whatnot? A lot of these connections that we have serve as a type of purpose to almost initiate and appreciate who you are as a person, and also strengthen your self-respect and your dignity and I would say, like, sometimes we need these experiences so we can restore faith in ourselves. We can restore integrity and confidence and self-respect with our energy and our time and our presence in the earthly realm. There is a lot of change happening, and there is a dark night coming in for a massive group of people on this earth now, while a big bunch of other people are now moving into more light and pleasure. So as a process of letting go of density and a process of letting go of negativity and whatnot, we have to experience and understand negativity or energies that are not self-respecting, or they're not mutually respectful towards your energy and your soul and your time and what you're deciding to do with your incarnation. And because at this current time period on the earth right now, there is a lot of changeover taking place. In the last few days, I was like, something that click over has definitely happened in the cosmos. The cosmos has changed, and what was once will no longer be. And I talked about the collapse of the ego and whatnot. Had a really interesting type of mini seance with a friend last night, and a bunch of stuff came through about the collapsing out of the ego that I've been putting up. And you know, we got our crystals out in the tarot and just a casual tune in. But yeah, the boy racers sound. I think you're in New Zealand. Such a thing. If you live in New Zealand, you know what I'm talking about with the boy racer sounds of the back streets of New Zealand. But with energy leeching, what happens is there will be, first and foremost, there will be some codependence on one of you, or you won't be fully empowered, or you'll go into a relationship or a connection or a business connection, or if it's a flatmate or whatever it is, or a peer or a family member, whatever it is, a codependency can breed further codependent connections where you are getting your sense of self, your purpose, and your direction from another person's energy, or your entire sense of self gets wrapped up in this person's energy and what they're doing, and you completely lose who you are. But in the beginning, like when those connections happen, you probably didn't know who you were, or you were just sort of going with what other people were saying, or yes, this looks good. And when we have like these energetic leeching things that happen, I would recommend to go watch my Karmic Crush video that is about intense energy leeching and navigating demons and intense negativity aimed at you that's been harnessed energetically and psychically, because that can happen. Is that the way that negativity gets enforced further and further on this earth is when people choose to align with negativity, or they're not actively trying to clear negativity and move into more positivity and light. When you sit in negativity, it is very easy for that energy to be harnessed by entities, and sort of just, that's when you get people who just sort of project their negativity onto you, and then they create these conflicts that are really unnecessary. So that's usually when those conflicts come out of nowhere. That's a big sign there's some type of energy attachment happening. That's puppeting the person. So usually when there is this codependency and energy leeching, you could be in a relationship or a connection or whatever, you're in a living situation, or it's like a friendship. And what happens over time, very, very subtly, is that it's like this codependent feeding that happens between the two people. And it's very, very subtle, and the energies get very, very intertwined. And there is no boundary between your energy and this person's energy. And because we need to evolve out of codependency and also codependent relationships and move into more self-autonomy in the masculine and feminine, when these connections come up, they are really highlighting to you where you are disempowered, where you didn't have self-respect for your masculinity or your femininity. Why are you still allowing this person to govern and dictate your life and your feelings and your emotions? How did that happen, and where was your insecurities that allowed that to happen in the first place? Because usually when energy leeching happens, you will not be fully self-empowered in your spiritual energies, and you will not be self-respecting. And so you will go off into very average, uncultivated energies and have these experiences and then come back out of them and then be like, I do not want people like this in my life. Life is very short. I'm going to align with higher quality masculine, feminine energies, higher quality, higher caliber energies in my life, so my quality of life is better. And so that's where that thing of mutual respect comes in. If it's not mutually respectful in the energies and the frequency, or there's energy leeching, or there's baiting, or there's all this very lower realm stuff, or people are trying to take your energy or bait you into conflicts so they can get, the ego can get fed, you're not helping anyone. And if someone is relying on you to sort out their life or to make choices for them, or they're constantly, taking up your time in your life and making their life more important than your life, that's a sign that there's energy leeching going on and you have lost all control of your boundaries and your sense of self, and someone else is very subtly manipulating your energy to get what they want. Maybe they want you to tell you certain things. Maybe they want you to tell them, oh, it's okay, you didn't do anything bad, when they did. People will use and abuse each other's energies to make themselves feel better because they don't know how to take accountability and responsibility for their own energies, and that's when leeching happens. People take from you. And yeah, it's a very big thing with overgiving yourself or overextending yourself to the wrong people, and that the energy wasn't balanced. It's about self-respect, regaining back your self-empowerment, and learning from the energetic leeching. So after the energy leech, or maybe you've ended it, some of the stuff that you can experience is embarrassment, or all of a sudden, because you are separated off from that person's energy, they're not in your living environment anymore, or whatever it is, you start to see things very, very clearly because your energy starts to come back to your own frequency instead of their frequency, and you begin to see very, very clearly how they influenced you to do, subtly influenced you or manipulated you, whatever it was, to do what they wanted. And it's usually when you're away from that energy that you begin to see it very, very clearly. It's very, very hard when you're in living environments or you are constantly in this person's energy to see people for what they are. When there is energy leeching, very common, it is very, very highly likely that that person will have some type of persona that they're operating from and not operating from their true self. So what was I just about to say there? And online personas as well. So I've been dreaming a lot about this and how people at the moment are creating almost alternate doubles of themselves online, where they are more connected into their online persona than who they are in the real world. And then they take on this online persona if they've gotten, like it's an addiction, if they've gotten some fame or some attention, or they get traction, or their ego or their energy leech, it makes them feel good from online, they will connect more into the online persona and then try and carry that into the real world. And that's where you get very, very high levels of online delusion. And I would say a lot of narcissistic tendencies in people where the online world has validated that false sense of self. And so there's lots of energy leeching that goes on online. People are looking for attention. Same thing, if you are scrolling, you are giving your attention and your energy to things that just don't matter. Yeah, and so it's sort of like with energy leeching and becoming more mindful of your time and your energy and learning to say no, and who's dictating what, who's doing what am I doing, and being more in charge of your life force. And we learn through these codependent experiences to give us more self-empowerment. And you have to sort of feel that disempowerment and that embarrassment. How did I let this happen? Where did I go wrong? Or why did that person take up so much time of my life? Like maybe it was 3 years, maybe it was this and this and this, or whatever it was. Maybe this person took over your marriage or your relationship, and it's like, okay, well, what did you learn from that? Where are your boundaries and where is your no? Self-empowerment, energy leeching. If you're coming into my aura and my energy, what are you offering, and how are you going to respect my energy? Yeah. Okay, so yeah, self-respect with your life force and your energy. And that's not coming from the ego that is demanding respect for bad behavior, or lying or manipulating things. And it's about being very real and realistic with where people are at around you, and not enabling or discriminating against someone who is having a very, very different life experience to you. Usually when there's energy leeching happen, that person is not fully aware of their energies. They're very disconnected from who they actually are and the stories and the beliefs that they're holding. And a lot of people who sort of take from people or manipulate things or lie, they or deceive, or energy leeching energy and deceiving your energy, that's a very big sign that they are not operating from high amounts of light or life force or the soul. So you have to discern and be more careful with who you're surrounding yourself with, and find the better quality energies, and let other people have their experiences away from you and let them figure out their own issues. As energy leeching happens when maybe we are over giving, we are not discerning enough, and we are not looking for mutually beneficial, respectful, loving connections. And that's where you get very imbalanced, codependent, energetic leeching on or latching on. And it's not healthy and respectful energies to be in, or the soul. And that's where you can get money manipulation. That's where you can get all types of stuff happen, and loss of self, loss of personal power and whatnot. And it's very intense when you come back out of it. But yeah, it can take a while for your sense of power to come back and work through the emotions. And how did I let that happen? Okay. Why am I still drawing similar frequencies to me? What's going on in my energy field? Do I need to go and see someone to help me get my self-respect back? It's very disempowering. It can be very debilitating on the soul to experience disempowerment where you've been fooled or you've been manipulated, and whatnot. Okay, thank you so much for listening. It's very important, I think, around about now, and with my little mini seance that I had last night with a friend, that having self-respect and looking for mutual beneficial energies right now is very important, and that you are allowed to say no if the energy isn't right for you. And you should never be manipulated into giving your energy or power to someone else to make them feel better. That is energy leeching. As someone cannot, a lot of the times when it comes to energy healing, what I've seen, people need to go through these disheartening experiences and learn to empower themselves. And we can't, if we're not, sometimes people need to experience all this darkness and ickiness so then they can learn to empower themselves. And you can't take that lesson or that journey away from someone. And it's not healthy to be codependent. And at some point we do have to mature into adulthood and stop energy leeching off each other like adult spiritualhood, and take full accountability and responsibility and maturity with our life force and our time and our energy, and allow other people to do the same and to learn those lessons as well. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that was helpful.